Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In an unusual form of vlogging, which is not really a vlog but model building, I'm going to be demonstrating building the Lego Architecture Paris model. Um, in 2020 I collected a bunch of the architecture series, and even now I'm still collecting them, most recently with the purchase of the Singapore edition. I've still yet to purchase New York as well as San Francisco, I believe, for the active items. I've also not purchased the White House and various older models that are no longer in circulation or not in sale, not for sale anymore. Sorry. Anyway, you can see me building the ground layout of this. Anyway, it's just the base. I don't know what to say about it other than it's a base. So the story of me purchasing this model is that I just started my new job, which is actually now my current job, and this was right around my birthday. So with my first paycheck, I decided to go to the Lego store, and no, I didn't purchase this as Lego, did I? Yes, I did. I went to the Lego store and I made this $50 or $60 purchase, which made me a bit nervous because I don't usually, I didn't like spending that much money on Legos, but I do like Legos. I've always liked them since I was a kid, but I could never really afford them because these things get pricey, like super pricey. And now that I have a job that can pay me well enough to buy some models every now and then, you bet I'm going to start collecting them. So now I have a bunch in this series, which I still have yet to buy a curio cabinet for, but that is for the near future, as we're currently renovating our house. So let's talk about Paris for a bit. I'm not going to talk much about its history, only because I don't have any notes laid out. I don't know what I would want to present, other than there have been a lot of different governments for it over time. There's a lot, of revolution and protest. There are still protests going on. France has just had its election for presidency, and as of 2022, Emmanuel Macron is still the incumbent president, which I guess, it's not my place to say anything about it because I do not live in France. I don't want anybody in Paris or any of the other cities to be mad at me for my opinions of politics, for which I really have none. Um, but I've been here twice. Back in 1999 when I was a child, or 1998, and more recently in 2015 which is when I did my study abroad. I went with, this was a sponsored program, not really sponsored, but it was an affiliate program. How do you say? It's just a study abroad program that my school did a partnership with the school Accent Paris, rather, if you want to go with the correction of pronunciation. We stayed at the Cité Universitaire, which was at the very, very south of the city. You would have seen this in my previous vlogs that I also finished uploading within the past couple of years. And yeah, we spent a good month there, pretty much touring, sightseeing, which are pretty much the same thing. We did study, yes, we did. We had our French classes in the morning, and that was for about half of us in the program. The other half of us did fashion. I was one of several students that managed to take both classes. Some students did not do the fashion program, and some students did not do the French program, but we all managed to be there. We all managed to live in Paris, get around, not really any problems, which is great. So, aside from the dorm situation, our school was near the Bastille, and just a couple blocks down, we'd walk into an alleyway and boom, there would our school be in one of the older type houseman buildings. And it was nice to go to, but the interior is more modern. It looks like a classroom, like any other classroom. I wish I could go back. I wish I had more footage of what the interior looked like, and I wish I could have done like so much more. Like, yes, there were vlogs, but there were also so many missed opportunities because after walking every single day, I was pretty much tired. So, most of the buildings in the set, or actually several of the buildings in the set, we have visited in real life as a group. The Arc de Triomphe, for instance, is, one of those climbable buildings. You have to take a staircase to go up, the other staircase to go down, and the view from above is, it's pretty nice. My friends and I got there when it was just about starting to be nighttime, and we did have to pay a little bit to get in. Because I was under 25, I was still able to get in with the student rate because I had a student ID. Another area we went to was the Champs-Élysées, which was right next to the Arc de Triomphe here, as well as the um, Grand Palais. I'm sorry, words seem to be losing me because I don't narrate well. I literally have zero notes for talking about any of this. Speaking of the Grand Palais, that is exactly what I'm building in this frame right here. So it's the first building that we see. More about that later. So we did get to visit the Champs-Élysées. I didn't really buy anything, but I did pass several nice designer stores. You get to see Lacoste, you get to see Haagen-Dazs, probably Peugeot or one of the other cars, the big giant Louis Vuitton store for sure. And actually near the Arc de Triomphe, there is a shuttle bus that picks you up and takes you to the Bois de Boulogne, and that also leads you to the Fondation Louis Vuitton Museum. Louis Vuitton does have a museum. It is an art museum rather than an actual, hey, this is a museum of Louis Vuitton products. It is not like that at all. But it's very nice. That's one of the last places we went to, and that also did end up on one of my vlogs. I'm sorry for the bad angles here. I know there's a lot of times where you don't really see what I'm building, but there's issues with like zooming in, zooming out. I'll have to fix that in post. Anyway, I don't know what else to say. One of our first excursions was to visit the Porte de Clignancourt, and there was a flea market. I think we went to two flea markets that day or within that week. And that was interesting. I didn't find anything I wanted to buy though because antiquing, flea marketing was not really my thing. Even though my teacher was like, oh yeah, just look around, but be careful because pickpockets. There are pickpockets no matter which foreign city you may go to. There are pickpockets in New York City. There may be pickpockets here in San Diego, of which I've never noticed. There's that. Also in this model, we do have the Arc de Triomphe. During our 2015 session, and also during 1999, I never got to go in it or on it. I never got to ride the elevator to the top. And for some reason, I just couldn't tell you why. I think back in 1999, it wasn't on my family's radar, and I may have just been too small to really appreciate it back then. And in 2015, I was on a budget, and because I was always tired and sleeping at the end of the afternoon, or during the middle of the afternoon after getting back to the dorms, I miss out on opportunities to do fun things. I didn't really partner up with people early on in the trip to go do fun things, so if I ever go back to Paris, then that's gonna have to be something that I do. We did go to, what's it called? The Notre Dame about 5 times, for sure. I remember each of those times. Luckily, we went before, the 2019 fire. So, as of right now, I believe the public cannot visit it. It's going under reconstruction because a lot of damage was done. Stones fell, the roof collapsed. I don't know what else was destroyed. A lot has been destroyed, but a lot of treasures in there have been saved. So we should consider ourselves very lucky, myself and the people that I went to the trip with. We should consider ourselves very lucky that we were able to go inside, see everything in there, be able to listen to the organ music. I don't remember if I have a record of that. I probably do. And if I don't, someone else might. We also went to various stores: Bon Marché, Galerie Lafayette, and I believe Galerie Lafayette we saw, it's either there or BHV, that we were able to see a fashion show at the very top. I don't remember how we got in. There's just a lot going on. We're kind of at the halfway mark of building this, and right now we're only seeing the Champs-Élysées. That does not look like the Champs-Élysées at all, not the ones I remember. It looks more like Place des Vosges due to the color. The style, I guess, is Lego's take on Haussmannization, but Lego is from Denmark, which is part of Europe. You'd think the architecture would be a little more accurate. Oh, and here we've continued with the part of where I've actually built everything. So from left to right, we see the Arc de Triomphe, Champs-Élysées slash Place des Vosges. I really don't like how this is looking. I don't like how that part looks. This black tower in the back is the Tour Montparnasse, which was actually near the area that we stayed in, and that was pretty much not on my radar at all. If we were near it, I've never seen it, probably because the buildings everywhere else is so tall and I'm so short that I just don't notice it. As I've mentioned before, we have the Grand Palais there, and to the right of that, on the front, I believe is the Champ de Mars, or Trocadero at the very least, because right behind that is where the Eiffel Tower is going to go to, and you can see that I'm currently building that. Next to that is the Musée du Louvre with its pyramid, and it's not as pointy as I'd like it to be. I did go to the Louvre a couple of times, one time with the classmates and professors, and another time by myself. I think I went by myself first before going with the rest of our classmates. Um, but yeah, I tried to avoid certain areas that I didn't want to see while I was there. But I kind of ended up walking in there anyway and immediately walking back out. That's all I can say about that. We also visited the Musée d'Orsay, various other museums. I know that there was an exhibit at the Jardin du Luxembourg, and I'm sorry that my French pronunciations are not the best, but at least I'm trying, which is more than that I can say for when I censored myself back in my original Parisian vlogs, because my pronunciation is horrid again, but I do try. We went to the Jardin du Luxembourg for an exhibit on the Tudors, and because I'm a history graduate and I happen to study about the Tudor era or be one of those fanatics about it, as well as French Revolution and Marie Antoinette, you bet I went to that museum to go see the exhibit there. And it was really nice because I got to see paintings of Elizabeth I, Anne Boleyn, Henry VIII, and I even got to see that famous ring of Elizabeth's that has a miniature portrait of her mother along with a miniature of herself, I believe. That was really nice. I don't remember what else I saw, but I felt very, very honored and grateful to have been able to attend that exhibit. Not shown here, and I wish that Lego would make a set for this. Not shown here is Versailles. That was one of the last places we were able to go to, historical wise. I kept wanting to go there during the duration of the trip, but then I found out that it was part of the itinerary for a certain date. And we did have a tour with that. Um, I believe, where was the guide from? I'm not sure if he was an accent professor, so he may have worked there, but he did give us a tour of Versailles and tell us about the history, most of which I already knew, because that's one of my other specialties. Um, I did buy a guidebook or a photo book of the area, along with several postcards because I collect a lot of postcards. They're pretty cheap, and I love, having little photos that I can take home. Let's see, I also got a folder. Oh, in Versailles, they have a La Durée station. If you don't know La Durée, it is a patisserie brand. They are famous for making macarons. Most notably, Sofia Coppola used their colors as the palette for the Marie Antoinette movie in 2006, and that's kind of why I really liked that one. So here we're still building the Eiffel Tower. My mom is walking around in the house, and I don't think she knows why I'm trying to narrate my videos. It's so I can fill in the blanks here because the video itself is sped up to holy heck. And thankfully I finished it here. I'm going to wrap this up in a bit, but you can see from left to right a close-up of everything I've built for this set. It's not been glued down. I don't think it will be. Over time, a couple of pieces fell off, but I managed to put them back or replace them with similar looking things because nothing's perfect. I just don't want to glue this set. Maybe the little pieces. And I hope to go back to Paris someday because, like I said before, there's always something I could do better. It's got history. There's a lot more that I didn't get to enjoy because, it's hard for me to enjoy myself when I'm on a tour group's itinerary. I know that that's personally my problem. But here you go. We have more in the series, so please stay tuned.